How I built my credit score in the UK. If you watch this video till the end, I am going to show you the step-by-step process that took me from having a poor credit score to having an excellent credit score, and how you can do it too. It doesn't matter your age, your income, your status, you can do what I did to move from having a poor credit score to having an excellent credit score. In fact, I am going to share with you my personal philosophy on how I seek credit or how I approach credit. Not just that, I'm going to share with you how to check your credit score. In fact, everything I know about credit and credit score. If this sounds like something that you want, make sure you watch this video till the end. And if you've not subscribed yet to this channel, make sure you subscribe right away. Let's get started. A little background story. I moved to the UK in 2022, and soon I realized that I now live in a credit-driven society compared to where I was coming from. The first time I had this realization was applying for a credit card, and I was denied. Why? Well, because the credit card company do not have enough information or enough data about me that shows that I could maximize their credit card. Well, 4 years has passed and I have moved from having a poor credit score to an excellent credit score. I have the same credit card that I was declined 4 years ago. First, what exactly is credit score? Your credit score is a number that shows your credit worthiness, a number that shows how well you can maximize credit if given. It is usually drawn from your credit file. Think of a credit file as a file that has your essential information that shows not just your personal details but also your financial activities, how much you owe, the banks you have, and so on. So that is what a credit score is. A score that shows your credit worthiness. A good credit score shows that you are credit worthy or you are more credit worthy than someone that have a poor credit score. But let me share with you my personal philosophy as regards credit, my personal philosophy or how I see credit. Number one, your credit score is a pointer of your financial behavior. I believe that your credit score shows how well behaved you are financially, which means that a good credit score means that you are well behaved financially, while a poor credit score means that you are poorly behaved financially. That is one of my personal philosophy. The second philosophy I do have about credit is that it's better to be capable of accessing credit and not need it than for you to need credit and not be capable of accessing it. That is what a good credit does. It helps you have the higher chance of accessing credit. That doesn't mean credit score is the only thing financial companies look at before giving you credit, but it is one of the major things they look at. So having a good credit score position you better than someone without a good credit score. Another philosophy I have about credit is that if you want to be truly wealthy, you have to know how to use credit. I see credit as other people's money, and barely will you see an extremely wealthy person that doesn't use other people's money. So you knowing how to use other people's money, whether that is loan or accessing capital from venture capitalists, you knowing how to use other people's money is a signal that you are going to be wealthy. So you have to learn how to use credit. Another philosophy I have about credit is that credit is neither good or bad. It is what you use it for that determines whether a credit is a good credit or bad credit. If you use your credit to make money, I see it as a good credit. But if you use your credit for consumption, I see it as a bad credit. Lastly, one of my philosophy about credit is that your credit determines your fate when you are not in the room. There is nothing as hurtful as people deciding your fate and you are not there to defend yourself. That is what a good credit score does for you. When you have a good credit score, you don't have to be in the room when financial institutions are deciding your fate when you apply for loan or you apply for mortgage. One of what will speak for you is your credit score. When you have a good credit score, you will likely get better deal from them. Okay, so let's move to the next section of this video, which is what exactly are the benefits of having an excellent credit score. Like I mentioned earlier, one of the benefits of having an excellent credit score is better borrowing cost or APR. If you have a good and excellent credit score, you have access to better deals with financial companies. They give you better rates. In fact, you avoid certain costs people with bad credit won't be able to avoid. Some broker charges, you can avoid it. Some finance charges will be avoided when you have an excellent credit score. Secondly, is early rent approvals. Some landlord use credit score to predict whether a tenant or prospective tenant is likely to be faithful with his or her rent payment. So when you have excellent credit score, you have a higher chance of getting your rent approved. Number three, you have access to better insurance premium. When you are seeking insurance, they will give you better deal because you have an excellent credit score. Another benefit is that you have great negotiating power when you are negotiating with lenders. You'll be able to negotiate better because you have a good credit score. It shows that they are taking less risk on you if they offer you credit. You also have access to better credit limits. You can increase your credit limits better than someone that doesn't have a good or an excellent credit score. That said, what are the things people do that hurt their credit? What are the things you are probably doing wrong that is hurting your credit? Number one is history of late payment. If you are fond of paying your utility bill late, your phone bills late, it could hurt your credit score. Number two is not being on the electoral roll. If you want to increase your credit score, you have to get on the electoral roll. Another factor is moving out too often. If you move house too often, today you are in this location, tomorrow you are in a different location, it could affect your credit score negatively. Another factor that could affect is defaulting on credit agreement. If you've had access to credit and you've agreed that I'm going to pay back this amount at this particular time, if you default on that, often if you do it over time, it will affect your credit score negatively. Another factor is if you make too many applications for credit in a short space of time. Today, you're applying for one credit card with a company. Tomorrow, you're applying in another company. Making too many applications for credit in a short space of time, it could affect your credit score. Another factor that could affect your credit score negatively is if you share a joint account with someone with a poor credit record. For example, if you get married to someone that is always owing money, always borrowing, while defaulting, it will likely affect your credit score. Also, frequently withdrawing cash from your credit card will have negative effect on your credit score. If you are constantly withdrawing cash rather than using your credit card for payment, it will affect your credit score negatively. Lastly, another factor that could affect your credit score is over reliance on credit. If you are using a huge amount of your credit without paying back, it will affect your credit. So it is always reasonable to use between 2 to 20% of your credit card. Now that you know some things you are doing wrongly that could probably be leading to low credit score, let's talk about things you can start doing or that I did that you also can start doing that will lead to high credit score. Before I share with you the steps I took that took my credit score or that improved my credit score, how do you even know your credit score? There are credit checkouts that you can use. You can check out TransUnion, Experian, Equifax, and there's one other one. I think Check My File. You can check your credit score using those credit checker. Let me repeat myself. Check My File, TransUnion, Experian, Equifax. You can check your credit score using those credit checkers. Now, let's talk about how I improved my credit score and how you can improve your credit score. The first thing you have to do right now is to get on the electoral register. Register to vote in your location. Just Google register to vote in the UK. You are going to see how to register, get registered. It will improve your credit score over time. The second thing is you have to pay your bills on time. It gives good record of you. You have good reputation of early payments when you pay your bills on time. One of the advice I'm going to give you, which is what I did, is that I set up direct debit. I don't know when my phone bills are paid, when my utility bills are paid. It gets deducted automatically. I set up a direct debit on a particular day. On that day, it gets automatically debited. With that, I don't have to think of bills. My bills don't get overdue before paying. So set up direct debit. It will really help you with managing your bills, ensuring that you pay your bills on time. Number three, if you can get a credit card, make sure you do. But that is not the most important thing. The most important thing is that you have to use it regularly and pay back on time. So when you have credit card, it's not enough for you to just have credit card. You have to use it. And when you use it, make sure you are paying back on time. Another factor that will help you improve your credit score is that you have to keep your credit card balance low. As a rule of thumb, I would advise that you use between 2 to 20 or at most 30%. 2% because it shows that you are utilizing or using credit. Less than 30% because it shows that you are not overly reliant. You are not overly reliant on credit, which is a good thing. I would advise that don't just use credit card. Make sure that you pay back on time and in full. That will really help you with your credit. Another factor that will improve your credit score is that make sure you are consistent with the information you provide when making applications. For example, your address should not be 25B, and sometimes you put flat B number 25. Make sure you are consistent when making applications so that it will be easier to trace your information to a particular location. Another factor that could help you is that don't just close your old account. Think twice before closing old accounts. Old account shows that you have long association with an account. So make sure that you preserve your old account. As a matter of fact, I would advise that you don't close old accounts. Don't close old accounts. Think twice before closing old accounts. Another factor that will help you improve your credit score is that do not make a lot of credit application in a short space of time. If you want to make credit applications, make sure that it is at least 3 to 4 months apart from each other. Why is this so? Because when you apply for credit, there's always ad check. Credit companies go into your file, they check everything thoroughly, which is ad check. And having too much ad check on your account is a net negative for you. So it is important that you space out credit applications so that there won't be a lot of hard check on your account. Another factor that will help you improve your credit score is be careful of opening new accounts. Make sure you hardly open new accounts. Another thing that will help you improve your credit score is avoid payday loans or things like buy now, pay later. I'm saying this because those type of scheme, you get addicted to it. And when you get addicted to it, you will likely default. And defaulting means that you won't be trustworthy. As much as possible, please avoid payday loans, buy now, pay later. If you are making use of them, make sure you are promptly paying back as expected. Another factor, which is one of the most important factor, is that be careful of your partnership. When I say partnership, I mean people you jointly share financial relationship with. Because if your partner has negative financial behavior, it will likely affect you. So it is important for you to be careful of who you are associating with financially. Lastly, make sure you are diligent with your credit limit. Make sure you are staying within your credit limit of your credit card. If you have a credit card, make sure you are staying within the credit limit. That's that on things you can do to improve your credit score. But how long does it take to for your credit score to improve? If you start doing all these things, how long does it take? Well, think of it as a gradual process. All you just need to do is to be consistent with all these things I have mentioned. Do not worry too much about how long it will take, but it will surely happen if you take all these steps I have mentioned consistently. It will surely happen. Let me also share with you common myths about credit and credit score. Number one of the things I hear a lot, which is not true, is that a bigger salary will improve my credit rating. No, a bigger salary does not automatically improve your credit rating. What improves your credit rating is your behavior, how you handle that salary. If you have a bigger salary and you are not paying your bills on time, it will affect your credit score negatively. If you have a small salary and you are paying your bills on time, it will affect your credit score positively. So a bigger salary does not automatically affect your credit rating. Another thing I hear a lot is checking my credit score often affect my credit. No, that is not true. When you check your credit score, it is a soft check. What affects your credit score is too much hard check. So when you check your credit score, for me, I check my credit score almost every week. In fact, every single week, I check my credit score and it has never affected my credit. What affects your credit is making too much credit application, which triggers hard check. Once there's too much hard check, it affects your credit score. Another myth about credit is that if you don't take on debt at all, if you are not using loan, if you are not using credit card, it affects your credit score up positively. Well, it doesn't automatically mean that the fact that you are not taking credit means that your credit score will be good. Another myth is that when you are debt free, it means you will have a great score. No. If you are debt free, it doesn't translate to having great score. What translates to great score is how you behave. If you have debt and you are promptly paying your debt, you have a great credit score. And you are doing all other things right, you will have a great credit score. If you are debt free and you are not doing all other things right, everything I've mentioned earlier, it will affect your credit score negatively. So, what matters most throughout all this is that you have a consistent good behavior with your money. Another myth I've heard a lot about credit that is not true is that anyone you live with can hurt your score. No, not everyone you live with can hurt your score. Anyone you have financial relationship with, those are the ones that can hurt your score. anyone you have financial relationship with, people you have joint account with, can alt your score negatively. Okay, lastly, I want us to talk about why you should prioritize your credit report or your credit file over credit score. Your credit score is only a score that shows or that indicates what is happening in your credit file or credit report. So the most important thing is your credit file. Your credit file contains information about you, including financial activities you've done over the years. Your credit file contains your address, where you've stayed over time. It contains the banks you've worked with. It contains the loans you've paid. It contains people you have financial relationship with. So what matters most is your credit file. Prioritize your credit file. Check your credit file regularly. There are some people that they are not aware that people have used their name or their information to get credit. But when you check your credit file, it will show fraudulent activities, if any has taken place. That won't show on your credit score. If there are mistakes with your information, that won't show on your credit score, but it will show in your credit file. If there are mistakes with your address, for example, personally, it was when I checked my credit file, that was when I discovered that there was a mistake with my address. I had to correct it with my counsel, then send the letter back to the credit check agency. All what I'm saying is that you have to prioritize your credit file. Constantly check your credit file, and you can check your credit file through some of the credit check agency I mentioned earlier. Equifax, TransUnion, Check My File, Credit Planner too. You can check your credit file with those companies. Prioritize your credit file over credit score. Now that you know everything I did to improve my credit score, what are you going to be doing differently going forward? Or what will you do right away to show that you are committed, to improving your credit score? Tell me in the comment section. If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, you are missing out. So click on the red button, subscribe immediately. Make sure you subscribe immediately. Click on the subscribe button. There are a lot of video coming your way: finance content, personal leadership content, marketing and sales content, even PhD content. So make sure you join the family. Click on the subscribe button. Let's keep going together. Thank you for joining me, and see you in the next video. By the way, there are other videos on this channel you should check out. Make sure you check it out immediately. Thank you.